Okay,
Welcome
welcome
to
today.
Yes.
All
All
right,
right. Today
today
we
we're
are going
going
to
to
talk
talk
about
about
consultation.
consultation.
My
My
name
name
is
is
Erin
Erin
Morse
Morse
of
of
the
the
Law
Law
Office
Office
of
of
Erin
Erin
Morse.
Morse,
And
and
I
I
want
want
to
to
answer
answer
all the
all the
questions
questions
that
that
we
we
seem to
seem to
get
get
very
very
frequently
frequently
about
about
consultations.
consultations.
Um,
Um,
and
and
what to
what to
expect
expect
when
when
you're
you're
really
really
gonna
gonna
begin
begin
a
a
consultation
consultation
for
for
your
your
divorce or
divorce or
custody
custody
case
case
or
or
any
any
other
other
matter
matter
that
that
our
our
firm
firm
handles.
handles.
Yeah. So
So
I
I
know we
know we
have
have
some
some
of
of
these
these
questions
questions
that
that
we
we
had
had
gotten
gotten
recently,
recently,
some
some
feedback
feedback
that
that
we
we
get,
get,
and
and
you
you
have a
have a
list of
list of
them.
them.
Yes, I'm
I'm
prepared
prepared
to
to
answer
answer
them.
them.
Hit
Hit
me
me
hard.
hard. And
We
we
are
are streaming this
live,
live.
so
So
there
there may
end
end
up
up
being
being
some
some
live
live
questions
questions that
I
I
will
will answer.
For
I
sure.
will interrupt.
Even
Even
if
if
it's
it's
not
not
related
related
to
to
consultations,
consultations,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
answer
answer
it.
it.
Sounds great.
All right.
Well, first things first, my name's Kristen. I am the associate attorney here at the law office of Erin Morse. I like to say if you ever just speak to me, it doesn't mean Attorney Morse won't be involved in your case. I'm basically her little shadow slash minion. So anything that you discuss with me in our consult, if you decide to do one, it will always go to Attorney Morse. We discuss the strategy. I take very detailed notes. I make sure it's all bundled up nice and great. And then she sees everything and oversees it. So I always like to say that.
We are always meeting about our cases and going over case strategy. We're constantly adjusting case strategy with all those facts and making sure that whatever way we get the best result for our clients, I'm going to make it happen.
Absolutely. So are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, great. So first, this one's simple. What is the purpose of an initial consultation?
So an initial consultation is for both of us to decide, me or you and the client, if we should initiate a case. If they have a case, we suss out jurisdiction, some of the biggest legal issues, we create a strategy on what the steps are to take. We basically make sure that you are a good fit for our firm because we only have a limited number of cases that we can take. And if this isn't the type of case that we think would work with us, because we do our best to make sure that we have good cases, clients who are great and great to work with, and those are the only people I'm willing to work with. So our consultation makes sure that you are of that like elite class of clients, and that I can actually help you rather than allowing you to sign up for a case and then us realizing pretty soon thereafter, after spending a lot of attorney's fees, that I can't help you with your case.
It's true.
That would be so true.
Yeah, very true. So how long do you think the initial consultation will last?
Usually we schedule them for an hour. They're generally telephonic, or we can also do a virtual meeting. Usually that's how we handle them because that's the easiest for everybody. It makes it time efficient for everyone. It puts us all in a position where we can have the most amount of time to focus on answering your questions. They usually last about an hour, and sometimes longer, sometimes less. Sometimes it happens quicker if you're just a very efficient character.
Yeah, very true. So does anybody need to bring specific documentation with them during this meeting?
I don't need your documentation at the consultation. I actually can speak to you about what the issues might be, and then it is naturally part of the process as we're preparing your case to collect the documentation and prepare it for you and make sure that we prepare any kind of disclosures or documentation that we need. We're going to set you up with a really good walkthrough process on everything that we need. We have good onboarding.
And so are these consultations confidential?
They are confidential. The very moment that money is exchanged and that we enter into any discussions with the attorneys, it's confidential. Also, as an aside, the confidentiality does extend to the whole firm.
Amazing. So can I bring a family member or a friend with me?
I generally want to say no to that question. Ideally, you would not, because legally, your attorney-client privilege is breached because you brought this third party. So ideally, we would not have a third party there, and that's really best for me to have the opportunity to suss out what your needs are and not have the influence of a third party. And I'm not saying that this is you. I'm just saying that it's happened where sometimes the third party is controlling or they have an inappropriate influence in your case or on you or on the circumstances about it. And I just don't think that that's fair for you. I don't really want that. I don't really want that influence to be here, and I think it can harm your case.
So go piggybacking on that. So these potential clients that come in, they get to speak directly to you, not just the legal assistance or anything.
Correct. That is what is in a consultation, is this direct discussion with the attorney to tell you what, the status of your case is, what I think the best strategy would be for your case, what is the best way to achieve the goals that you're looking for, and advise you about the law. Probably the most important thing, at least for both of us, right, is that I answer all your questions that you have, right? At least get you started on what to understand with the process.
So since there's the both of us, do they get to talk to both of us before they can hire, or is it just one?
No, that's not really sensible, right? What if Attorney Rahim is in a trial or mediation, or I'm in a trial or mediation, or it's family law? Emergency hearings come up all the time, so that could happen. It could happen on any case at any time. No. What, any perspective about that for you?
Oh, for me, yeah, I believe that, like I said, anything that I think a lot of times I see that clients have maybe they're apprehensive with talking to me and not talking to you, which is understandable. It is the law office of Erin Morse, right? Who doesn't want to talk to Attorney Morse? But I take extremely detailed notes, and everything that we go over goes to Attorney Morse. She sees it. She goes over the strategy that I come up with, and if there ever is some sort of deviation from it, you would be updated. You would know exactly what would be going on. So just because you talk to me doesn't mean you won't be talking to her. Same with her. We're very much involved and we know what's going on. So I think one is plenty.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, it's really, for me, I know that you have been my shadow for a long time and really been working here for a long time in your whole legal career. And I love that because finding a really great associate is like a unicorn. So that's why we're here making this video. I do really have all the confidence in you, and you have shown us time and time again, you're light years ahead of where you should be, quote unquote, when it comes to like your career. So I don't know.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a great experience.
Well, thank you so
You
much.
get two for the price of one a lot of times.
I'm like this because of Attorney Morse. So So what type of costs come involved with legal services? Like what's something that they should expect when they're thinking about retaining?
So there is a cost to our initial consultation, and it's cheaper than our hourly rate, right? So it is generally $100 or more cheaper than our hourly rate. So this is a discount. And one of the reasons we handle it that way is because initially, when I was an attorney, I was doing free consultations. And I quickly learned and found my success and had a lot of referrals and a lot of winning cases. And it just took off to the point where I didn't even have enough time to do all the consultations that people were coming to me for. And the other problem is I will give you your whole case strategy and tell you if you don't have a case and this is what you should do instead. Sometimes the end of my consultations are, you should really think about trying counseling. Or what about if you ask them this? Or that's really not, this happened just a couple weeks ago, last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, where I had a consultation and they were asking me, well, what about this and what about that? And is this enough? And I said, if you file that as a modification, in particular, that's what was going on. I said, you're going to lose, right? That's not enough. Do I think you're getting there? Yes. But, this and this action and this behavior is not contempt, but this would be. And what if you tried this strategy when you're communicating with them, right? And I really did outline all of that strategy for them. And they were really helped. They actually called us back and said thank you because we did fix the problem that they were having with time sharing and how we improved the communication and the strategy with their very toxic ex, right? So we did help them with that, and truly they didn't have a case. So we spent the hour, I think it ended up being about an hour and a half in that instance, and we solved it. I've gotten food baskets from people when I said, doesn't sound like you're ready for a divorce. So because I want to be like that, I really have to change my strategy because at the end of the day, I still am a person who's going to work and I have children and families to feed and staff. So I don't know. That's
Yeah, sounds great. So what's the process like when you evaluate someone's case during this consultation?
yeah. So usually what I do is I try to open up and ask them to tell me what's going on, what brings them to needing a divorce attorney. I try to meet them and I really want to right out the gate answer the questions that they have. So whatever question is burning on your mind, I want to answer right now. So let me answer it. And it's okay to start there because I want to open up the conversation with knowing exactly what's going on with you and your case and your circumstances. And then at some point, once we get to the procedure part, I will guide the conversation or I will bring up, hey, this is what to expect. This is what to expect in your particular case with timelines. This is what to expect with strategies. These are the motions we could file. These are the results we would likely get. This is how you should defend your case. Those kind of things are really important to think about when you're strategizing and preparing your case in its entirety as you progress through the process, whether we're beginning it or coming in the middle.
So what can a client do to help us kind of get a full scope and understanding of what is fully going on in their potential case?
So ideally, before your consultation, I want you to have a notebook of some sort or a note in your phone and whatever your system is that seems like it's going to work best for you. And write down the questions that you have and want to make sure you have answer. And when we're there in the consultation, write down the answers, right? So that you have them and you know them. Again, once you hire us, we have a very robust procedure and a way to walk you through the process. I do my best to give a lot of information. That's why I'm making this video.
Yes.
But we will walk you through it. We will get you there. We will advise you every step of the way. You'll have regular meetings with the attorney when we're preparing for any type of court appearance. You'll have a strong connection with your paralegal. I hire just the best staff.
They're the best.
We love them.
So should they disclose all the details of their case in their consult?
Yes, it's all confidential. So whether you think it's relevant or not, don't worry about that. That's my job, right? I'm there. I'm here for you to suss that out. It's okay. You can just drop everything that you need to know, everything that you think I need to know. Just go for it.
I think this piggybacks on something that I hear a lot in my consults is based off of what I told you, is my case going to win? Is this a winning case? I get this all the time.
I mean, I'll get you divorced. I'll win all your
That's true.
I'll get you divorced.
Yes, it's true.
Generally, everything is not possible. That's just not reality, and that's okay, right? That's not what you're looking for with a lawyer. You don't want a lawyer who can guarantee you everything that you want. I'm not saying I haven't had immensely successful results, but the reason why I'm very successful is the things that are not winnable, we try to resolve before we go to court, right? And we try to negotiate it. So if you won't succeed at it in court, we try to have that conversation like, hey, this one won't win in court. We should re-strategize and think of something else.
So how do you work with the case that has multiple issues going on, not just divorce, it's also having, child custody, child time sharing, all those things? Like, how would you kind of do that?
So fortunately in Florida law, and this one I probably should say for the consultation.
Oh, I guess that's true. So.
It's okay. I'm okay with giving it away. This is actually the problem. That's why I had to charge for consultations, but it's fine with me. I have a whole ass podcast. Generally, what is the big idea behind this is in Florida, you have to address all of the issues that you have at the time of the divorce. So you can't do just a divorce and not equitable distribution. You can't do just a divorce and ignore custody or ignore a pregnancy or ignore child support. You can't even waive child support. So, I think that that's something that people don't always know, but that's okay because I know, and I'm here to help you with this. And Also, I want to mention, and I don't know if you have this experience, but people have this like immense amount of anxiety about the fact that they don't know the law.
Mhm.
My response to them is like, that's not your job,
Mhm.
right? You have your job that you're really good at, and I have my job that I'm really good at. Like, I have no idea how to change my oil.
It's true.
I could never do that. I don't think I could change a tire.
I could not change a tire. That's why I call my dad
I
or my husband.
Yeah. So
Or your husband
Yeah.
is really who I would call.
yeah. So is that an experience that you have when you do your consultation?
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely this goes into this is kind of like what sets this firm different from others and why should they should be feel the way that they feel and to pay to have a consult.
Well, us.
Yes.
But, and again, if it's something that you want more information about or you need to do some more research about, we have this whole podcast, right? We have this whole series of YouTube videos because we put our podcast videos on YouTube so you can watch them, you can see our inflection, you could get probably most, if not all of your questions answered.
100%.
We strategize for what you want and what I could potentially achieve in a courtroom so that I'm not walking you down a road where I can't be successful for you. And sometimes we go to court and we know that this is a risk. Hey, by the way, you're risking this. And we know that. That's the difference, is that I'm not here to sell you something you don't need to buy. I think that's really important. I think that making sure that you have an attorney that actually cares about what your needs and strategies are rather than what anyone should do or some broad strokes desire of what they think everything should happen, because the law is clear on a lot of issues and it's gray on a lot of issues, but everybody's facts are different.
Oh, that's so true. I say that all the time. No case is the same. Or even sometimes with the court, you could have the same facts, different day, different judge, and it could be a completely different thing sometimes.
Right.
Just don't know.
Every judges come to this with their own life experiences and their own level of what reasonableness is. And that's unfortunately that.
Yeah. I also think one thing that sticks, this firm out from others is our communication.
Yeah.
I think that we are very good at communicating with the clients. We're definitely a time certain office. If you want to speak to us, you can call the office. We'll put you on the calendar right then and there. So then that way, if you need to speak to us, with that time that is on the calendar is set just for you.
Right.
So, and I think that at least I have heard, and I've heard from other people, is that that's not really the situation with other firms.
Well, I was a paralegal before I went to law school, so I uniquely was answering the phones and I understood what the complaint always seemed to be. And my attorney won't call me back, or why won't they call me back, is a big one. And I also saw the perspective of the attorney and how busy they are with running to court and preparing for trials and hearings and all of that. I think it was a miscommunication because they could never understand it from that perspective. They only understand it from their perspective, that they called 3 days ago and their attorney hasn't called back. But if you had a full day mediation on the next day and then a hearing the following day and then a trial even just 2 days after that, you need to be preparing for trial and those things. It'd be really hard to call 5 or 6 people back.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So for me, I thought good and hard on how to solve that problem. And the easiest thing for me to do, or the solution I found, was have a time certain phone call. Because if you're on my calendar, I'm available at that time, date and time. You know you're available. You know you're not stuck in a work meeting. And then, because I hated the game of telephone, where I was like, call you back, leave a message, call me back, leave a message, Post-it note, this wall of Post-it notes. Felt like a nightmare. So my office actually doesn't even take messages. They'll get you right on the calendar.
Yep.
It's not take a message. You can send me an email if you need to take a message, but the best way to make sure you're in contact with us, this goes for both of us, right? Just set a time, set a phone call. Even if that's in a couple of days, just know when you'll talk to us.
Yeah, and that goes into like, do clients get regular updates on their cases if they hire?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
right.
of course.
I don't have any clients who are in the position where they're saying, I don't know what's going on with my case. And I have a lot of clients who sometimes are like, you guys send a lot of emails.
Yes.
Right. Again, not a real complaint. complaint, but sometimes they'll be like, I missed that one. You send a lot of emails.
Yeah.
We do. Everything that gets filed with the court immediately sent to the client. So sometimes you'll see things before I see them.
Yes.
So that's a big deal to me, is that we have good client communication and a prep meeting for everything.
Mhm.
Unless you say you really don't want a prep meeting because it's something simple like a pre-trial, like a case management conference, you gotta have a prep meeting. You gotta talk to me.
For
I'm
sure.
like, you're getting on the phone with me.
Yeah. So obviously during this process of hiring an attorney can be stressful. What you're going through is stressful. So what is the success rate in handling cases like that you typically would hire for, like divorce, family?
So I would say that my success rate is probably in the like 87 to 95% success rate. Again, that's almost unfair to say because I won't take something to court that's not winnable or stupid or a stupid position. I'm like, I'm not saying that to the judge.
Yeah.
I won't let you walk into court with this, say that to the judge because it's not true.
Well, also, I'm going to piggyback on this in the sense that I've witnessed this multiple times where judges on the record have said Attorney Morse is one of the best attorneys in Central Florida. And I'm not just saying that because my boss is sitting here with me. That's generally the truth, and it is true.
I always
And it
joke I
happens.
should buy these transcripts and like
I
make
tell
a
her to
wall.
buy them and literally frame them
Yeah.
but it's true. So you would be in good hands. The firm will definitely take care of you.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
we
it's
care a
there's a
lot.
transcript with it, right? It's
Yeah.
it's
Attorney Morse
verifiable.
especially cares about our clients so much more than I think any attorney that I know. And obviously, I feed
do
off
care.
of that, and I care too.
I don't take any shit.
That's true. She doesn't.
I
So don't
take
mess
any
around.
shit. So don't confuse my kindness with weakness. I
But
don't take
she
any shit.
genuinely cares for her cases and her clients, and will do
Yeah.
anything she can to make sure they have a good outcome for them.
In whatever way I can. If I'm
Yes.
like, listen, this ain't a winner. Right?
She'll
You can't
tell you.
take this forward. It's not going to go well in court. The judge is going to say this, 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 and this, and it's going to be bad if you don't do this.
Well, you don't waste attorney's fees like other attorneys do.
Well, that's not necessary.
Well, I mean, you don't.
Right. It's not necessary.
It's
You're
not
right.
necessary. Like some attorneys will take things knowing it's a loser just to get those fees, where, that's not you. You'll tell them straight up, like, hey, this is the situation. Let's do this route to save you money, time, grief, all that stuff. So,
well, I just found that, first of all, I'm busy enough. Part of my consultation process is like, hey, I'm busy and I have a finite amount of time, so I can't take every case.
this is good. So how would I be able to schedule up a follow-up consult if I had further questions?
So you'd call again and reschedule it, schedule another consult. The scheduling feature on our website works just as well, and you'd be able to schedule a follow-up consult. We do allow that within reason, right? No one's ever done like 15 of them.
Yeah,
right?
no, of course. A question that I had in a consult this week actually was, I'm not really sure if I want to move forward right now. Do I have to hire today, or can I hire in a month or 2 months, or do I need another consult if that's the case?
So it depends on your circumstances. This is kind of why me having a consultation is important. Depends on your circumstances. I take detailed notes. So we're going to put in your notes, what the status is of your case. But in 6 months, probably do need another consult to see where your case is. A month, probably not. You probably want. You could take some time on that. That's reasonable. But it just depends on the timeline and the circumstances of your case.
So will you be able to give them a potential price on how much you think things will cost that day, or
yeah? So what I try to do is at the end of our consult, I take a moment, I tidy up my notes. Again, we put you on hold and I connect you with someone with our office and they talk you through the next steps and pricing and everything. Bye, Micah. See you later. And that way you'll know exactly what your costs are to get started. Of course, we are hourly rate based. And the intention of that is my goal with quoting a retainer, and you know these just as well, right? My goal with quoting the retainer is that we give you a reasonable place of resolution. I made that up, believe me. Like I've always said it. It's only my phrase. No one else says this. But I want to get you to a reasonable place of resolution. So in general, that's through mediation.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's you have a trial pending, so I'm trying to get you through trial, but I want it to be reasonable. I don't want to keep knocking on your door for attorney's fees, and I want to try my best, but it's unpredictable,
Mhm.
right? I don't know what the other side's
Yeah.
going to do. They could file 13 motions in a week. Do you know anybody that sounds like?
I know exactly what that sounds like.
I feel bad. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I do. My
I
heart
do, I
goes
feel
out to
bad.
him.
Yeah.
He's they're trying on him.
So pretty much that's really all the questions that I have. Is there any like last moment notes or anything that you want to say or you want to ask that you think
Um,
is important?
I think that this is really about making sure that we focus on you
Mhm.
and your needs, making sure that you have a confidential way to ask the questions that you need to ask. It's really focused on you and
Mhm.
your case. It's unique, it's different. Everybody's costs are different, everybody's strategy is different, everybody's life circumstances and where financially this case is going to put them, because money's always an issue, right? Money is always a thing here, and I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to have those conversations. I'm not afraid to give a real approach. We could try to give you a lot of things, like some snapshots on what maybe child support would be if we have
Mhm.
enough information. We can give some quick snapshots of alimony. We
Yeah.
can give some quick snapshots of equitable distribution. What are our other magic words? Your parenting plans.
Parenting plan.
What does equal time sharing mean? Again, a lot of this stuff fleshes out through the course of your case, but we'll kind of go over that with you.
Mhm.
Um, you know,
I find in my consult, especially when it comes to the monies like assets, like sometimes I'll ask, what's most important to you? And we discuss those things first because, obviously you can't, I feel like you can talk to these potential clients for hours and hours, but you don't have that time. So I always ask, what's most important to you and what is the perfect outcome for you? And
right,
then we can base it off of that
right.
as well. So
Where would
that's
you
good
like
to
to
think
see
of.
this go?
Yeah, so that's something that's really good to think about before you get in the consult as well.
Yeah,
And it makes things a lot easier.
yeah.
Also, I feel like Attorney Morse and myself, we're very personable. And I think that that's good. So like, feel free to just be yourself and talk to us. And it's okay to be emotional too. I feel like,
I actually, it really is okay, and
yeah,
it's so understandable, right? Sometimes it's almost
it makes you human.
makes you human, right? And
Yeah.
this is everything, right?
Mhm.
This is your most important relationship. These are your children. These are
Mhm.
your businesses. We represent a lot of business owners. This is your finances, your property. It's everything. It's everything that is a part of your life. I get it. It's hard.
So we're here for you. We're here for
Yeah,
you. We're here to make you comfortable. And so I always say no detail is too small.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah,
If it's important to you, it's important to me.
absolutely. 'Cause we're here to advocate for you. And that's what's
Right.
most important.
Right. Again, our goal is to be transparent. It's to make sure that you get the service that you deserve, that you need. We are very service oriented. And I understand that maybe there are a lot of firms who do free consultations. I'm not here to tell you that. But unlike free consultations, I don't have a hidden agenda because, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but if there an attorney has a free consultation, they have to use it as a marketing opportunity. I don't, right? We're covered the cost, we're paid for our time because we have exclusivity with our clients. And I don't have to worry about, like, what do I need to do to recoup my time,
Mhm.
right? What do I need to do to make sure my associate recoups her time, right? I'm not counting her minutes because, again, you're paid for your time. It's just like you. When you clock in and you do work, you're paid for your time, for your work, for your work product. Our strategy and our ideas are our stock and trade, and the forms are free online. I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Florida Supreme Court
We
website.
advise people of that too in consults.
Plenty of times we've had that conversation that, hey, maybe you should just go file this. So again, it's important that we take your case serious and we're setting real expectations and, avoid wasting anybody's time, right? Because everybody's time is valuable. It's the only finite resource, completely finite resource that you can't get back.
Yeah.
So your time is valuable as someone who is going through whatever you're going through that brings you to needing an attorney.
Absolutely.
All right.
So hire the law office of Erin Morse.
Yeah, right. Hashtag Erin Morse.
Erin Morse. Yes, we love it.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Catch you later.